June 12, 1962, 7:15 in the morning. Alcatraz, Federal Penitentiary, San Francisco Bay.
Cell Block B, morning count. A correctional officer walks a tier, checking bunks. He's done this 1,000 times. It's like counting a new deck of cards, the most boring job on the most secure island in America.
Cell 138, Frank Morris, still in bed. Blanket pulled up, dark hair on the pillow. The officer calls his name. Nothing.
Calls it again. Louder. Nothing. And on Alcatraz, you do not get a sleep in or you get the hose again.
Wow. Okay, well, so the officer reaches through the bars and he gives the sleeping man, just a little shove.
The head rolls off the pillow like this is the French Revolution. Hits the concrete floor hard.
And Frank Morris's face is lying on the floor of cell 138, staring up at him. Painted skin, real human hair, and a face made of soap.
The officer screams, which, honestly, fair enough.
That freaked me the hell out, honestly, because the man that face belongs to has been gone for 9 hours, and he's not the only one.
This is The Great Escape from Alcatraz, part 1 of 2.
Sneaky footsteps in the night, clues that vanish out of sight. Grab your hat and magnifying glass. We'll talk this case and have a blast. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? Tune in to know.
Welcome to Mugshot Mysteries. I'm Kathryn.
And I'm Gabriel. And before we start, we want you to notice something kind of rare about tonight's episode. Nobody dies in it, which frankly, and there is a Frank in this story, is always kind of refreshing to me because nothing is off limits. This is like an Alcatraz roast.
Oh my gosh, are we the roast masters?
Well, it'd be more politically correct than Tom Brady's and Kevin Hart's. We promise America.
And all the other countries listening. Okay, now back to the dying part, Gabriel. We have to say probably no one dies. We'll get to the probably. The probably is the entire second episode.
But as far as anyone can prove, this is a ridiculous escape story where every single person involved walks away. Some of them just walk and swim considerably farther away than others. Because like the devil and Cthulhu, the greatest trick these men pull is maybe convincing us that they don't exist and aren't cosmic creatures of horror. Though those fake heads, oh my God.
Yeah, those are horror movies I don't watch. Well, tonight can be considered a heist. The vault is a federal penitentiary on a rock in the middle of San Francisco Bay. The thing being stolen is 3 convicted bank robbers. And the crew pulling the job is the same 3 bank robbers. And I'm sorry, now I'm just picturing, is this the new Fast and the Furious movie? This setup, it sounds like it was about to roll up and bounce these bank robbers out. The vault's going to come flying out. I know a vault came flying out of one movie.
It did. That's Fast 5.
Oh, I think that's when I stopped.
That's where I stopped.
Oh, sad. I used to love it. I thought I could drift.
Well, this is during the Great Depression. So let's just say that Shawshank, maybe Fast and the Furious, and every heist movie from this point on was probably influenced by Alcatraz. There's also a great movie with Clint Eastwood that I did grow up watching. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Called Alcatraz?
I think it's just called Alcatraz.
All right.
It could be The Escape from Alcatraz.
Well, here we go.
This can be the script and you guys wouldn't even know it.
I might not know it.
We just copied the script of that movie and we're going to go ahead and read that verbatim.
I'm Clint. That's not how Clint Eastwood sounds.
No, I'm definitely Clint Eastwood in this.
Then who am I?
You're the annoying prison guard.
Well, that tracks.
Because for 3 decades, the United States government told the public that this prison could not be beaten. Maximum security, the end of the line. The place escape went to die and play checkers for eternity.
And it got beaten by spoons, raincoats, and an accordion.
The only confirmed casualty in this story is the Bureau of Prisons' reputation. It did not survive, and no one thought to resurrect it.
Well, this is a 2-part story. So tonight you're going to get part 1, how they did it. Every spoon, every fake head, every unhinged detail, right up to the second that 3 men slip into black water. Next time, part 2, what the government found, what it decided, and why the United States Marshals still have an open file more than 60 years later.
Because here is a thing about tonight. It plays like a comedy right up until the water, and then it becomes a mystery. So let's go to the Rock. Nicolas Cage, you will be there in spirit.
Alcatraz Island, 22 acres of rock sitting in the middle of San Francisco Bay, about 1.25 miles from the city. The Spanish named it for the pelicans. The Army turned it into a fortress, then a military prison. And in 1934, the Department of Justice turns it into something new.
An idol to the angry face of Lady Justice.
A maximum security federal penitentiary with one job. Take the worst behaved men from every other prison in America, the escape artists, the riot starters, the celebrity gangsters, and put them somewhere the country can stop thinking about them.
This is a depression, by the way. Bank robbers are front page news, and half the public secretly and very vocally roots for them. Washington wants a symbol, a prison whose name all by itself is the threat.
Well, August 1934, guess who arrives? Al Capone steps off the prison boat. Machine Gun Kelly follows. Yes, this was a real person before it became the joke of MGK right now. And if you like him, come at me. I don't really care.
Who did he wrong? Was it Taylor Swift? Did he wrong somebody? There has to be a reason. You always have a reason.
Eminem. He tried a feud with him.
Okay, there it goes. I know there's a reason with you.
Demon.
That was very feminist of the hate that you got.
Anyway, a real person, Robert Stroud, the Birdman. If America has heard of you and you are in federal custody, you're headed to the Rock.
I like that, the Birdman. I really want to look up what the Birdman did, but I'm not quite sure.
That's our next pod.
I don't know. I just assume he had a whole, what do they call it? A thrush of birds that he just threw at people as he robbed banks.
I feel like our audience is like, shut up and get back to the story. Sorry.
This message lands as hard as a toilet paper there. The papers call it Uncle Sam's Devil's Island, and the security is real. Roughly 260 inmates and about 1 guard for every 3 of them. That's right. Each inmate gets 33% of a prison guard. The ratio is truly unheard of anywhere else in the system.
Head counts happen around the clock, a dozen a day. Tool-proof steel bars, gun galleries above the cell blocks, metal detectors between you and everything.
Alcatraz counts everything. Every man, every tool, every fork, every minute, and every slight. Like this is a marriage. That look, I'm counting this one.
But the bars were never the real security. The real security is the water. The bay sits in the low 50s all year, and the currents rip toward the Golden Gate hard enough to drag a strong swimmer out to sea. The official position is simple. Even if you somehow get out of the building, well, the bay is going to finish the job.
The water is the wall. Everything else really is just set decoration.
And the Bureau leans into it. Stories move through the cell house about the bay, about sharks, about men freezing solid in minutes. The prison never corrects a single one because fear of the water is free security.
Which works right up until the day somebody stops being afraid of the water.
For 28 years, the record backs the fear up. Before June of 1962, more than 30 men try to get off this island in a dozen separate attempts. Every one of them is caught, shot, or drowned.
So the odds are not with you.
Odds may never be in your favor.
In 1937, for example, 2 men slipped into the fog and are never seen again. No bodies, no sightings. The Bureau rules them drowned because when Alcatraz cannot produce a body, drowned is the official answer and very likely true.
Well, you freaking hope so. If they're like this horrible person that's locked up, they're like, can't find the body. They're probably dead and totally not in San Francisco about to commit the crime again.
They could have been rehabilitated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in 1945, a man named John Giles gets closer than anyone. Giles works the dock detail, unloading the Army's laundry boats. And piece by piece, over months, he seals himself a uniform. A shirt here, trousers there, an insignia goes right here.
Until one morning, an Army sergeant no one recognizes walks into the military launch with the soldiers, calm as a toad in the sun, and the boat pulls away from Alcatraz with him just standing on the deck like an absolute boss.
I'd say so. It is the single smoothest escape in the island's history, and it lasts about as long as the boat ride. Because there's a Looney Tunes-sized problem. The launch is not headed for San Francisco. It's headed for Angel Island, 2 miles the other way. Their count comes up 1 sergeant too heavy, and Giles is in handcuffs on the Angel Island dock before lunch.
Now, we have to give Giles credit where credit's due. That is an all-time record. It lasted as long as a 16-year-old in the back of a T-bird.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Really haven't gotten to say one of these for a while.
The best anyone has ever done against this place is just trade one island for a slightly bigger island.
In 1946, an escape attempt turns into a 2-day gun battle inside the cell house. Officers and inmates do die, which, by the way, you said there was no death in it, but you lied.
Yeah, temporal distancing. It happened before this, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, well, the Marines shell a functioning American prison to end it. That is how seriously this place defends its perimeter. It shelled it like it was Antietam.
So, that is the myth, and the myth is earned. Now here is what the brochure leaves out.
Alcatraz is falling apart.
It's the most expensive prison in the federal system, and it's not even close. Every gallon of fresh water comes by boat. Every bag of groceries, by boat. Holding a man on Alcatraz costs about $10 a day. Atlanta does it for $3.
And the island is eating itself. Salt air corrodes everything it touches. The pipes rot, the steel flakes, and the concrete of the cell house, that was poured by the Army back in 1912, has been soaking up 50 years of salt and moisture and, disgustingly enough, prison sweat.
Washington knows this. The Bureau keeps asking Congress for repair money. Congress keeps finding better and possibly more corrupt things to do with it. Year after year, the rock sits in the budget reports under a term landlords learn about in tax year number 1, deferred maintenance.
And in about 20 minutes, a man is going to crawl through those 2 tax-deductible words.
One more thing about the rock, because people forget this. It's not just a prison, it's a freaking town. Guards live on the island with their families, wives, kids, dozens of children ride a boat across the bay to school every morning and come back to America's most famous prison, which I gotta imagine is a hell of a show and tell.
For sure. Toddlers in Capone's old cell block sharing 22 acres.
That is the Bureau's message to the world. We are so sure of this place, we raise our children on it. And the confidence is 28 years old now, and it's never been wrong.
Franklin Morris is born September 1st, 1926 in Washington, D.C. His parents are out of the picture before he even turns 11. So he grows up in foster homes, one after another, and picks up his first conviction at 13.
And somewhere in that time, somebody hands him an IQ test. He scores 133. That's good, because that's the top 2% of the country. And this isn't even one of those online ones.
I want to do one of those. I want to find the real one. How do people just get handed IQ tests, by the way? I've never been handed hey, I'm not saying it's going to be good, but hey, here's an IQ test. How do you get one of those?
It used to be a very popular thing to give kids.
Yeah.
Now they just do stat testing.
Well, I want to do an IQ test.
You can go do one online.
Is it a real one?
They're fairly real.
Oh, boy.
Just assume that they're going to pad your stats a little bit, make you feel better about yourself.
Whatever. The country's response to a brilliant abandoned kid is a guided tour of its correctional facilities. Juvenile homes, then jails, then prisons. Possession, armed robbery, bank jobs. By his 20s, Frank Morris is a career criminal with a genius IQ and a resume made entirely of institutions.
The system keeps measuring how smart he is. They write that number down in a file, and then they keep putting him in rooms held shut by locks. At no point does anyone see a problem with this.
By 1955, he is serving 10 years in Louisiana State Penitentiary, Angola, one of the hardest prisons in the country. Morris escapes.
From Angola. And that is just the warm-up. That, my friends, is the opening act.
Let's get into it. He stays free for about a year before he is caught pulling a burglary. And now the federal system has a problem because Frank Morris has demonstrated the one skill it absolutely cannot tolerate. So on January 20th, 1960, The Bureau sends him to the one place built specifically for men like him.
Which is a correctional equivalent of saying, that was cool. We double dog dare you to try that again.
You always go Boston. Moore steps onto the Alcatraz dock in January 1960 and does what he has done at every institution since he was 13. He goes quiet, he keeps his head down, and he starts reading the building.
The staff will describe him as a model inmate, which, with Frank Morris, is not a compliment. It's a way to avoid attention like he's the middle child.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the country in Donnellsville, Georgia, lived the Anglin family. 14 children in a farmhouse, seasonal field workers following the harvest up and down the map. Tomatoes in Florida, cherries in Michigan.
And in Michigan, the Anglin kids swim in Lake Michigan. The family story is that John and Clarence would go out early in the season and the water is cold enough to make grown men quit. But they were good, strong, calm, cold water swimmers, which is a hell of a useless skill unless the right opportunity hits.
Well, the wall around Alcatraz is 52 degrees of open water. John and Clarence Anglin grew up beating cold water for fun.
John Anglin, born 1930, Clarence, born 1931, just a year apart, inseparable their whole lives. Where one goes, the other follows.
And in January 1958, where they go is the Bank of Columbia in Columbia, Alabama. 3 Anglin brothers walk in and rob it. John, Clarence, and an older brother, Alfred, who draws his own conviction and lands in state prison in Alabama. The federal system gets the other 2.
They rob the bank reportedly with a toy pistol, which tells you 2 things. 1, they didn't want to hurt anybody. 2, they weren't exactly master planners.
And because the bank is a federal situation, John and Clarence land in the federal penitentiary in Atlanta,
where they immediately get to work on the one hobby, besides swimming in nippy weather, that they're genuinely elite at, leaving.
Between them, John and Clarence try to get out of just about every institution that ever holds them together whenever they can actually manage it, which is the detail everyone keeps underestimating. The Bureau plays its usual card, move the problem. It ships John to Alcatraz in October 1960, and Clarence follows a few months later.
The federal government's answer to 2 brothers who cannot stop escaping together is to reunite them on an island next to each other.
We are legally required to point out that no one at the Bureau saw an issue with this either.
And then there's the 4th man, Alan West, a New York car thief, in and out of prison his whole adult life. And by the early 60s, he's on his 2nd tour of Alcatraz, which is honestly almost hard to do.
Well, West is a talker. If West did something, you're going to hear about it. If West did not do something, you're going to hear about it as well, just slightly louder.
For the rest of his life, Alan West will tell anyone holding still that this whole thing was his idea and his alone. And here's the annoying part. He's probably not lying.
Because these 4 men know each other. Morris and the Anglins have crossed paths in the federal system before, back in Atlanta. And by the fall of 1961, through the completely ordinary magic of cell assignments and transfer requests, all 4 of them end up on the same tier of B block, neighboring cells. By some accounts, the brothers' last prison had warned Alcatraz in writing not to house the 2 of them near each other.
So, look at the prisons lineup that the Bureau just assembled in one row. You got the escape artist with a genius IQ, the 2 brothers who never stop trying to escape, and the repeat customer who knows the building well. Alcatraz did not just fail to prevent what is coming, Alcatraz did the seating chart. A dark, narrow canyon running the length of the block, probably about 3 feet wide, stuffed with pipes and conduits. Guards almost never go in there. It's loud, it's cramped, and officially, there's no reason to be in there.
6 inches of concrete between a locked cell and an unguarded hallway, which is fine. Concrete is concrete.
Unless the concrete has been marinating in salt air like concrete dry brine since 1912.
Now, sometime in the fall of 1961, the men on that tier make a discovery. If you work at the concrete around the vent, it does not fight back like concrete. It flakes, it crumbles, it comes away in damp little crumbs like a stale cake.
America's toughest prison has a load-bearing wall you can dig with dinnerware. And the men who figure this out are exactly the wrong 4 men to know it.
So the plan starts. And the first problem is tools, because Alcatraz counts everything, remember?
It counts everything in the tool room like they're robes in a hotel room. It counts everything in the machine shop like it's auditing an ATM machine. It is slightly less obsessive about the dining hall because who in their right mind escapes a maximum security island using a spoon? Well,
spoons go missing from the mess hall. Their handles get sharpened against the cell floors into little chisels. At one point, the crew even builds a drill out of a motor from a broken vacuum cleaner.
The drill mostly fails for the reason you would expect. A vacuum motor grinding into the wall sounds exactly like a vacuum motor grinding into a wall.
So, spoons it is. And now, the second problem. Noise and time. Digging happens at night and it happens slowly, a few crumbs at a time. Any guard walking the tier can hear scraping, so this should be impossible.
Enter the warden, Olin Blackwell, the newest and most chill warden the Rock had ever had. The old regiment ran Alcatraz on silence. Blackwell loosens things up like the cool woodshop teacher. Oh, his bleeding heart. We're talking painting classes, hobby kits, and 1 hour in the evening that changes everything.
Music hour. Because every night, inmates are allowed to play instruments in their cells. Frank Morris takes up the accordion.
Imagine what a cell block full of prisoner musicians sound like. Somebody's on trumpet, somebody's on harmonica, somebody, God help everyone, learning the accordion. You could disassemble a car in there and no one would hear it.
I mean, people could be playing spoons. Have you ever heard that? It's like really impressive.
I mean, like America's Got Talent. I'm sure there's been like 15 spoon playing people.
Oh, well, they're not as cool as the spoon person I follow on TikTok. She is a queen.
What do you mean a queen?
She's just a freaking queen. She just lives in the middle of nowhere, I think in Kansas, actually. And she's had a hard life, but people come and play spoons with her. And it's just really melodic. And so that's all right, the look I'm getting from my husband at this moment. I really enjoy listening to her. So people could be playing spoons and digging with their spoons at the same time.
In the middle of Kansas. She had a hard life, but people coming to Kansas playing spoons with her make her feel better.
Make themselves feel better. So.
She's a queen, damn it.
She is. She's a freaking queen. So that is the nightly rhythm through the winter of 1961 into 1962. Music hour starts, and on the back wall of 4 cells, spoons come out.
Run one of those nights in real time. The hour opens and B-block sound check. Somewhere a trumpet. Somewhere a harmonica is doing its dangest. It's not a concert. It's prog rock. It's ugly. It's beautiful. All at the same time.
And in cell 138, Frank Morris sits on his bunk with the accordion against his chest, playing badly, facing the bars. Now behind him, under the sink, the painted panel is out of the wall and John Anglin's legs are sticking out of a hole in the most secure prison in America.
John works the concrete with a sharpened spoon handle. The crumbs drop onto a towel spread under the vent. Every so often, he backs out and the towel gets emptied into the dark of the corridor, a little gravel at a time.
Down the tier, Clarence lies with the space near the bars, watching the block. A guard turns onto the tier, and Clarence coughs, twice.
The legs pull in. The panel slides home. And by the time the flashlight reaches 138, there's a man on a bunk murdering a waltz and nothing else to see.
The guard nods and moves on. He is standing 30 inches from the hole. The music plays him right down the tier.
And the fake panels hold up in the daylight too. The crew paints grills and wall sections onto cardboard, and honestly, they're good. You can go see the pictures yourself. Accurate color, accurate shadows, all of it straight out of a hobby kit. Slot the panel in, and the wall is just a wall again.
Morris keeps his accordion case parked in front of his vent because nothing says, "Do not look here," like an accordion.
Now, guards walk that tier a dozen times a day. Remember, they each own 33% of one. For months, men with flashlights pass within arm's reach of 4 holes in the wall of the most secure prison in America, and they see nothing but cardboard.
By late spring 1962, Morris and both Anglins can pop their panels out and slip through into the utility corridor whenever they like. 3 cells on B block are now doors.
West's is not quite. His section of the wall is in even worse shape than the others, which sounds like good news, but the crumbling runs so wide that his fake panel just doesn't sit right. So what West does is he patches the edges with a little smuggled cement just to hold everything into place.
Which means the only fresh cement on Alcatraz, the only concrete on that entire island that is new and strong and doing its job, is the concrete Alan West just put between himself and the way out.
Nobody clocks it at the time. There's just too much going right.
Now, once you are through the wall and into the utility corridor, you can climb. The pipes run all the way up, 3 stories to the top of the cell block. And up there, between the top of B block and the ceiling of the cell house, is a flat, dark shelf of open space that nobody patrols.
30 feet above the heads of the guards, on the top of the cells, inside the most watched building in the federal system, there's an attic that nobody's even watching.
Now, earlier that year, Alan West had pulled maintenance duty, cleaning and painting up on top of the block. And West, being West, talks his way into an accommodation. All this dust and paint and debris, he says. It is going to rain down on the tier. Let me hang some blankets around the work area to catch it.
The guards say sure. And so, with institutional approval, stamped and blessed and presumably with a very large shrug, a curtain goes up around the top of B block, a privacy screen in a prison.
Behind that curtain, through the spring of 1962, the crew builds a workshop. And what that workshop produces is the part of this story where you start laughing before you remember it actually worked.
Project 1, the boat.
You cannot swim the bay. Everyone agrees you cannot swim the bay. The water is 52 degrees and the current is a conveyor belt to the open ocean. So they're not going to swim. They're going to sail. They are going to build a raft.
Out of raincoats.
Alcatraz issues inmates these rubber-backed cotton raincoats. They're navy blue, government standard. And slowly, one coat at a time, raincoats start migrating toward the top of B block. Some borrowed, some donated by inmates who know exactly what is going on and hate the Bureau just that much. And some are just simply stolen.
More than 50 raincoats, off the backs and out of the cells of the most counted men in America. Remember, Alcatraz counts everything. They are the Count Van Count of the prison world. Outerwear seems to be on the honor system.
Now I'm just thinking of count. 1, 2, 3. Tell me you're a mom without telling me you're a mom. They did not guess at the design. The prison library carried popular magazines, and the crew studied them like blueprints. Articles on rafts, on inflatables, on how the seams have to work.
The federal government confiscates your freedom, your name, and your shoelaces, but they do like to give you instructions on how to do things you're never supposed to do again.
Should they just call it Temptation Island? Like, I know that's a show, but like Alcatraz, what the hell?
More importantly, do you watch that show?
No.
Without me? Are you sure?
No,
it's not one
promise.
of those shows?
It's not.
You're just not watching it on your phone?
No, you can check. Mine's all murder shit in SpongeBob because that's what
surprise. The podcast, Gabe, it'll be so fun. Get to a murder podcast about mysteries.
Nobody died in
Mugshots.
here. See, you helped me turn a corner.
Yeah, no deaths that we think or know of. We'll get to that in part 2.
So, on Temptation Island, they cut the coats and press the seams together against the hot steam pipes running through the corridor, vulcanizing the rubber layer by layer into something that's airtight, stitched, glued, and heat sealed. A raft roughly 6 feet by 14, built entirely out of the Bureau of Prisons' own inventory.
Plus, life vests, same method, 1 per man. Plus, paddles, shaped out of scrap plywood and stolen screws.
And one more piece of equipment. A raft is only a raft if you can inflate it, and you cannot exactly ask the guards for an air pump. So they take a concertina, a little accordion.
And we're back to the accordion, because a 5th grader couldn't draw a better full circle.
They gut it and convert it into a bellows, squeeze the instrument, inflate the boat. The escape from Alcatraz is going to be powered by the same machine that spent all winter covering the sound of the digging.
That accordion deserves its props, and it's now bronze in the Grand Accordion Museum of America. It's not a real thing, but I wish it was a real thing.
I, too, wish it was a real thing. What is a real thing, though, is Project 2. Because all of this, the digging, the climbing, the sewing, it happens in the evenings, after dinner, during music hour, which means for months, the crew needs to be in 2 places at once, in their beds for the counts and up at the workshop building a navy.
They solve it the way they've solved everything else, with arts and crafts.
The dummy heads. They mix soap and toilet paper and concrete dust into a kind of sculpting paste, and they create and they shape human heads. And they paint them with flesh tones out of the hobby shop paint kits.
The rehabilitation program is going great, by the way. The warden, he's thrilled with all this painting.
And for the finishing touch, hair. Real human hair. Clarence Anglin works in the prison barbershop. Day after day, he sweeps the floor, and pinches of hair leave the shop with him, tucked away. A few dozen strangers' haircuts slowly building 4 new heads, which is disgusting.
I knew you'd like that visual.
Ugh.
You can see the heads too. Yes, because up close, in daylight, they look like props. Just horribly, pants-wettingly terrifying props. Now, through the bars, in a dark cell, under a flashlight, while a bored guard walks a tier he's walked 10,000 times, they look like sleeping men.
So, this is the routine, running every evening through the spring of 1962. Dinner ends, heads on pillows, men through the walls, up the pipes, a shift of cutting and sealing behind the curtain, lights out below, guards walking the tiers, counting soap, and before the block stirs, back down, panels in, heads hidden, real faces on the pillows, night after night after night.
4 weeks, the guards of the most secure prison in America say goodnight to soap.
By May, the raft is built, and the vests are built, and the heads have hair. There is exactly one problem left, and it is the ceiling.
So let's get into it. Because the workshop shelf sits under the roof of the cell house, and the way through this is a ventilator shaft. Straight up, through the roof, out into the night air. Simple, except the top of that shaft is capped.
Bars in the shaft, and on the roof, a heavy metal rain hood riveted down. This is the one piece of Alcatraz between them and the sky that is actually built like Alcatraz is supposed to be built.
So it becomes a night job. Week after week up in the dark working on that cap, loosening it, spreading what can be spread, grinding at the rivets, just a little at a time, always leaving it looking untouched, rigging in it to hold it in place.
Until one night in early June, it moves. The cap is free, sitting in its collar like a lid on a jar. Above them now there is nothing but weather. The only thing left between 4 men and the San Francisco Bay is simply the decision to go.
And that decision is getting urgent and stressful because each day is just another day somebody can find an open cap, some fake soap heads, and a cardboard cutout wall.
Because the searches never stop. A shakedown crew does not knock. Guards appear at a cell, the man steps out, and they take the room apart. Mattresses get flipped, books are shaken out. Every seam of every garment is just destroyed.
Some morning that spring, and it happens more than once, that crew is standing inside cell 138. One guard flips through the magazines, another pats down an accordion case. The vent panel is 18 inches from his boots.
The panel is cardboard. The paint is hobby kit. The only thing protecting the biggest secret in the federal prison system is arts, crafts, and the human certainty that a wall is a wall.
The guard stands up, calls the cell clean, and he moves on to the next one. And somewhere down that tier, 4 heartbeats palpitating like a reggae drum start to calm.
There is one complication though. West. His wall patch, the fresh cement, the only honest concrete on the island, it has set hard around his grill, and his panel will not come free like the others. He's been working at it, and he swears he's close.
Morris has a genius IQ and one certainty shared by football coaches and everyone who has ever planned anything. Close is not done.
So June 11th, 1962, which is a Monday, at some point that day, the word moves quietly down the tier, cell to cell. 4 men who have spent 9 months on one project.
Tonight.
That day looks like every other day. Breakfast, work detail, yard time, dinner. 4 men move through the ordinary machinery of a maximum security prison, count it over and over, acting like men with nowhere to be.
The last count of the evening comes back perfect. Everyone present, everyone accounted for. It is the last accurate count Alcatraz will ever take of those 3.
9:30 p.m. Lights out on B block. The tier goes dim and quiet. Guards will walk the block all night, flashlight sweeping the bunks, counting sleeping men.
In 4 cells, the sleeping men are being taken out of a hiding spot and tucked into bed. Soap faces on pillows, blankets shaped over rolled clothes. The heads, they're on duty.
Frank Morris slides his panel out and is gone through the wall. John Anglin, gone. Clarence, gone. 3 shadows and a pipe canyon climbing.
But in cell number 4, Alan West is on his knees with his fingers on the grill, pulling, and the grill is pulling back harder.
The cement. His panel is seized at the edges. The thing he poured to keep his secret in the wall is keeping him in the cell.
So he scrapes and he pries. He widens the gap crumb by crumb, and every minute he spends fighting his own repair job, the other 3 are a minute further up the pipes.
Up top, behind the blankets, the crew is moving. The raft comes off the shelves, vests, paddles, the concertina, everything hauled up the last ladder of pipe to the mouth of the shaft.
Somewhere below them, a friend is clawing at the wall, and there's a call every crew in every heist story eventually has to make. Wait for the 4th man or move.
They wait as long as they can stand to, which isn't very long because the plan only works inside one specific window of darkness and tide. Morris makes the call the plan requires.
They move.
Up the shafts, hands on the rain hood, the cap they spent a month loosening, they push.
It gives, and as it comes free, metal meets metal and a clang rolls out across the roof of the cell house and down into the night. In the quietest prison in America, that might as well be a gunshot.
And around 10:30 p.m., a guard hears it. A loud metallic crash somewhere up around the roofline. He looks, he listens. The searchlights sweep the same empty angles they always sweep.
Nothing moves. And this is where 28 years of the myth goes to work. Because this is Alcatraz. Nobody escapes from Alcatraz. So a crash on the roof of Alcatraz cannot be an escape because nobody escapes from Alcatraz.
Well, the moment passes, no alarm. The Rock's confidence absorbs the loudest mistake of the entire operation and rolls over and just simply goes back to sleep.
Back on the roof, 3 men are lying flat against 50-year-old tar, waiting to find out if the night just ended. It didn't, so they run.
100 feet across the open roof of the cell house, crouched low, moving between the sweeps of the lights. To the far edge, where a kitchen vent pipe runs down the outside of the building, 50 feet of bare pipe.
They shimmy down it. This is Depression America, and these men aren't carrying a whole lot of McDonald's weight. 50 feet, hand over hand with a rolled up Navy strap to their backs.
The fences, 12 feet, barbed wire on top. In the dark, in the blind spots, over they go.
And now they're outside, standing on open ground on the northeast shore of the island, down by the power plant, in a scene between the searchlights they have been mapping from windows for months. The hard part's done. Every wall Alcatraz has built, they're on the wrong side of it.
Which leaves only the wall Alcatraz did not build.
The bay.
At the waterline, in the dark, the raft unrolls, and a man puts a concertina to a rubber valve and starts to squeeze. The little accordion wheezes, and breath by breath, 50 government raincoats become a boat.
The least stealthy instrument on the entire Earth, performing the stealthiest job of their life.
The plan, as it exists, is this. Paddle north about 2 miles to Angel Island. Rest. From there, the mainland, dry clothes, a car, and by the time morning count reaches cell 1B8, be 100 miles of highway in any direction.
That is the plan. And Angel Island, for the record, is exactly as far as the smoothest escape in this prison's history ever got. Remember that man? And he had a real boat and a stolen uniform and a certified captain. Between these 3 and the same beach is a mile plus of pitch black, 52-degree water that across time and space sounds absolutely terrifying.
Sometime after 10, likely closer to 11, 3 men walk a homemade raft into San Francisco Bay and push off from Alcatraz.
Behind them, the island glows. Ahead of them, the whole lit up skyline of San Francisco, close enough to read. And around them, nothing, just black water moving.
And the tide is going out.
Here is the math nobody in that raft needs explained to them. Water in the low 50s takes the swimmer's hands first, then their arms, then their judgment. A man in that bay without a boat has maybe an hour of being a swimmer before he's just a passenger on an eternal rolling wave.
Which is why 9 months of work went into never touching the water. As long as the seams hold, the bay never gets its turn. And what the seams are is 50 raincoats and some steam.
The last anyone can prove that is the picture. A raincoat raft, 3 heads low against the chop, paddles digging, sliding north into the dark, and then the dark just has them.
Now back inside, sometime around midnight, a grill finally tears loose from a patch of stubborn cement, and Alan West squeezes through his wall at last. He climbs the pipes. He comes up into the workshop.
The blankets are still hanging. The shelf is empty. Above him, at the top of the shaft, there's a circle of open night sky where a riveted steel cap used to be. Cold air is moving through it, and no one's there.
No raft, no vest. His freaking ride has left him. And a man who might swim for it looks at that black water alone and does the math the Bureau always counted on everyone doing.
Yes, because Wes climbs his happy ass back down the pipes. He slides through his wall. He fits the panel back into place out of habit, and he lies down in his bunk in the quietest prison in America to wait for the only thing still coming, morning.
The rest of the night belongs to the heads. Count after count, a flashlight slides across the pillow of cell 138, finds hair and a cheekbone, and slides off. Guard after guard signs his name to a number that has been wrong since before 11 o'clock.
Soap does not fidget. Soap does not snore. Soap, as it turns out, is absolutely outstanding at his job.
At 7:15 a.m., an officer on B tier stops at cell 138 and calls a name. He reaches through the bars and shoves a sleeping man.
And you have heard this part.
Yeah, the head hits the floor, the scream, and then a sound Alcatraz has made before, but never quite like this. The escape siren, rolling out across the water toward a city waking up to a sentence the government built an entire island to never say out loud.
3 men are missing from Alcatraz, and no one has the slightest idea where they are.
Now where they went, well, you'll have to wait for part 2.
Next time on Mugshot Mysteries, the biggest manhunt the Bay Area has ever seen. What the searchers pull out of the water, and the one thing they never find.
The FBI writes an ending to the story. The Anglin family spends 60 years refusing to sign it, a photograph from Brazil, a letter to the police from a dead man, and a federal file that is somehow still open.
Part 2, The Hunt. Follow the show so it finds you. The way the FBI never found them.
Too soon?
It's been 64 years.
True. It's not too soon. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening. It really does help independent shows like ours grow, and we'd love to keep moving Mugshot Mysteries from niche to known. So think of your review as our homemade raft. Every rating, every share, every follow is another raincoat helping this little podcast make it across the bay. And if you want even more Mugshot Mysteries, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Mugshot Mysteries Podcast. Unlike the men from Alcatraz, we're actually trying to be found.
Sneaky footsteps in the night, clues that vanish out of sight. Grab your hat and magnifying glass. We'll talk this case and have a blast. Mugshot Mysteries, we're on the trail. Twists and turns that never fail. Laughs and chills, it's quite the show. Who did it? Tune in to know. secret note. A shady figure in a trench coat. The clock is ticking, the plot gets thick. We'll crack this puzzle quick as a click. Mugshot Mysteries.